Yo, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Samuel Leggett here representing Team JVS. Got some juicy information for you guys, but I also think that there's an opportunity here for us to kind of get some more filling information, because I think that a lot of people are very scared and hesitant about this whole entire process. But in researching it and then also talking with fellow colleagues, specifically associate member Lucas Moore, in regards to this, I wish I just brought Lucas on for this. It might not be as bad as we think in terms of anybody that is an HBO Max member or anybody that is currently a VRV or Crunchyroll member as well. It might actually end up working out better in the long run. But let's go ahead and just overview it really quick based on the article. Article reads, AT&T to sell Crunchyroll to Sony's Funimation for $1.175 billion. In other words, WarnerMedia, who is owned by AT&T, is distributing out Crunchyroll to Funimation. Now, just a small little history lesson. That was probably less than 2 or 3 years ago. Initially, Crunchyroll was kind of like its own corner, doing its own thing. Most people looked at Crunchyroll for the subs. You know, you're not looking for dubs on Crunchyroll, you're just looking for it for subs. Funimation was one where, you might have both. You might have dubs and subs, but they also had a really interesting ongoing progressional catalog for Funimation. And so eventually Crunchyroll ended up coming up with what's called VRV. And when they came up with VRV, that kind of changed the game because they added Funimation. They had like Nickelodeon, they had all these different kind of things, as well as the stuff that were offshoot indie shows as well. They even brought in Rooster Teeth, and VRV was amazing. Then Sony bought Funimation, and they were like, no, we're taking our thing and we're going to move somewhere completely different. Now the tides have changed. Not only is Funimation have its own thing, but they got authentic, created, original like shows and movies and whatnot. And at this current time, the two biggest was Jujutsu Kaisen and The God of High School, which I'll be reviewing later, as their main, original series that they've kind of created from webtoons. But at this point now, the game is completely different, where Funimation will have ownership and distribution of whatever content. Now, let's oversee what this actually is saying. AT&T inked the deal to sell Crunchyroll anime business to Sony's Funimation group for the allotted amount in cash. The companies announced. Funimation, a joint venture between Sony Pictures and Entertainment and Sony Music Entertainment, Japan's Aniplex, has been a major rival for Crunchyroll in the global market for Japanese anime and fandom. AT&T, looking to reduce its debt load, which we'll get into in a little bit, has been looking for a buyer for Crunchyroll for several months. Now, big thing I want to actually address here, and I'll show the numbers and information. Most people look at their HBO Max and they're like, yo, we got Cartoon Network, we got DC, we got Turner Classic Movies, we got BBC technically, and then we've got Studio Ghibli, and we've got Crunchyroll Collection. There's a key to that I didn't even really realize, but I'll get to it in just a second. I just want to make sure I put that out there. Variety previously reported that AT&T's WarnerMedia was looking to sell the unit for at least $1 billion. Actually, it was less than that. It was actually 300 less than that based on the calculations I'm talking from Lucas, but I'll go into that in a second. Crunchyroll touts that more than 3 million subscriptions of VOD subscribers and some 90 million registered users across more than 200 countries and territories. It offers an ad-supported VOD, mobile games, manga, and events, and merchandise and distribution. Crunchyroll says it has more than 1,000 titles and over 30,000 episodes, which claims represents the world's largest anime library. I'll get into that because that is big. In the US, Crunchyroll's ad subscription is right now at $7.99 per month and includes simultaneous cast anime programming, which means that it would be as it was actually airing in Japan, as well as being able to actually watch it here, which is amazing. And in Funimation's US streaming subscription plans start at $5.99 per month. Animation distributes over 700 anime series, representing more than 30,000 hours of content available for 49 countries. Sony, which brought Funimation in 2017, valuing the company at 150 million, hasn't disclosed the number of subscribers or users for the service. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna do something really quick so you guys can be able to see it. Hold on one second, just so we can kind of get a handle on this. Got it. Cool. So I'm gonna play this in just a second, but I want to elaborate on what I'm doing here. A lot of you guys are probably worried that what's going on with the backlash and the craziness behind the closed doors and the debt possibly accruing from AT&T with their push and motivation for HBO Max that has put them at a slight. Now, I was personally worried because I was like, oh man, they're just trying to sell whatever they can to make up the cost and revenue. They're gonna have to push back for Legendary and other distribution and other directors and other actors to compensate them for this effective, quickly pushed thing that jarred a lot of people in the wrong way. Now, when I went to HBO Max though, this is what I found. Okay, and I'm gonna enlarge it really quick so you guys can be able to see it, and hopefully you can kind of hear my voice as well. Right here is the catalog, A to Z. And that's it. Again, Funimation has over 700, but the other joint, Crunchyroll, has about the same number. So we really ain't. Right here is the. All right, I'm gonna stop it right there because I want to make sure I bring up a really big point about this. I was under the inclination that the Crunchyroll Collection was the same situation that was going on with DC Universe. I thought that, you know, how DC Universe, all the stuff that was there was getting pushed over, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. The key word was collection. There was only 35 of those titles. We just read, based on the information given, I thought, you know, because it doesn't say on Crunchyroll, and I'll show it in a second. I thought that Crunchyroll only had a certain allotted amount of things there, but it's not. It actually, I'm gonna actually pull it up really quickly. Let me pull up this really quickly because I think this is also equally important. Got it. All right, so with that collection, it's only 35. They only have right now 35 of the Crunchyroll Collection that technically they can interweave back and forth. So I was like, initially I was thinking, man, they're just going to remove it all. They technically don't have to because there's other companies that do the same thing. HBO Max is no different than what Hulu is doing with, you know, grabbing certain specific titles and trading them in and out and removing them, expiring them, and adding back in. So they can technically still keep the Crunchyroll Collection, even though they've already sold it off to Sony, which is great news for us as consumers. So that's good. Now, the other thing I want to show you guys is this. I'm going to pick this off really quick, and I'm going to pull up this. Let me make sure I got the audio going for you guys. What is the number? Sorry, I apologize. I'm going a little too fast, even for myself right now. Got it. Here we go. I'm gonna play this so you guys can be able to hear it. Okay, and hopefully this gives you guys a little bit more at ease feeling. So this right here, I've already shown that Funimation has around 701. And this is Crunchyroll's catalog. They don't have a specific number, but yeah. Like there's no way for me to go through without holding down on the down button. Like there's tons, but that doesn't equate to those only 35 or 34 different animes that are under the Crunchyroll collection. So yeah, I wanted to add that into this because that's important. All right, so I'm gonna stop that really quick. I'm gonna come back to you guys. Okay, so thousands, because I mean, okay, I'm gonna even do it even better because I was like, just for the heck of it, so we can get the actual number that Funimation had. Even though Funimation is a boss, like don't get it twisted. Funimation is a boss. This is Funimation's number right here, 701. That's it. That's all that Funimation actually has. Now, at this current conjunction, if Funimation has 701, Crunchyroll has 1,000 or more, and probably 2 original created stuff, what is it now that Sony is going to opt for Funimation to do? Are they going to absorb the name VRV and that changes, and they're going to remerge into something as a consolidated outsourcing where they can go and start pulling stuff from different places and make a little bit more revenue on the back end? Or what? Because at this point now, they were the 2 competing anime distributors across the United States and across the world. So at this current time, what is going to happen? Personally, don't know. This is only theoretical, and this is also going off of Lucas's theory as well. His personal perspective was that the quality and the quantity is going to change. Quality will up, and it will be more increased in value if there's no competition going back and forth. You can, instead of pacing to try to outpace somebody, you can make sure the quality is being maintained in a certain kind of level. But the amount of quantity of different shows, if you're right now, say hypothetically speaking, between the 700 and the 1,000, say 500 of that from Crunchyroll is completely different than Funimation, you got a huge catalog. You know what I'm saying? Like, outside of what Netflix is doing as an up and coming, which their new original content is amazing. I'm loving what Netflix is doing, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to distribute. They still aren't a competition. Hulu is not a competition. There's no other competition technically from an anime distribution standpoint now if Funimation is absorbing Crunchyroll. But what will it actually look like? Where would this actually go in the long term of what we're going to see from original content being created, from the progression of it? And the other bad thing that I can see as a downer is, would Sony backfill and pay for it? I don't know personally that they care enough that they're going to go and make those moves to make it a well-oiled machine is what, they were on different footstools. Now they could. Again, my theory is that you take VRV concept, you remove VRV as a whole, and you consolidate them as one whole faction, and maybe add like what, $2 or $3 let's just say $2. We're keeping it $2 or $1.99, and you'll have the entire Crunchyroll catalog that you can be able to have added, something like a Funimation Plus or something like combined together. I really don't know. I really have no clue. I'm interested in what you guys' perspective are. Make sure you let me know in the comment section, in the chat. CSK Gamer, oh no way. Slater, yeah, more anime for everyone. As consumers, this is good. What's happening with HBO Max is good for the consumers for next year, and what's happening right now with the situation with what they're doing with Funimation and Crunchyroll, I mean, it gives us more, but we don't know what that means for distribution and the amount of content and amount of new shows being revolved around the door. If there's no competition anymore, it's going to change. It just depends on what that actually is going to look like and how they're going to outsource it. What is it going to actually be? My theory, again, I think it could go into a VRV situation. The good thing that I can say is that as far as HBO subscription, I don't think your Crunchyroll collection is going to go anywhere. It could, but it's only $35. You're not missing anything. The only big things you're missing is Jujutsu Kaisen and the God of High School, maybe Erased, and oh my gosh, Promised Neverland. And technically, you could get those from anywhere. You can get that from Hulu. So you're not losing anything. So don't think that your HBO Max is losing out. Matter of fact, you're still continuing to gain in the long term moving into 2021. So I wanted to say that to give you a peace of mind, because I personally was about to go and just bash. I was like doing my research. I was like, yo, Lucas, let's talk real quick. I should have just brought Lucas onto this because Lucas is the man. If you guys don't know, definitely go and check out all his content. Would Funimation dub all the series in Crunchyroll's library? Again, quality and quantity. They could, but does Sony really care? No, Patrick, I think that's a great question, but I don't know that they care enough. It's probably separate for now until Sony will do something or maybe knows only the person that can say it with people's wallet. Agreed. I completely agree with that, Slaker. Couldn't Netflix be a potential competitor? I said that initially, and I think that to Lucas's debate is that they have some amazing, great new content. Like, don't knock that. Like, the content they got right now, from an original standpoint, is banger, and they have the money to continue to revolve that open door. But you can't compete with 1,000 animes, old and new, and you can't compete with 700 old and new. Progressional, newly created content that's continuously evolving. And I can go check really quick on the different animes for Netflix and how many number it is, but I know it doesn't match that at the end of the day, which is not a slight on Netflix at all. Matter of fact, it's actually commendable because they've accrued a lot of this in a short amount of time. And all of their new anime content has been very good. So it's not a slight. It's actually a compliment, but it's not there yet. Could it be later? Yes. It would have been one thing if Netflix bought Crunchyroll. That would have been interesting. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. Crunchyroll has their own dubs, by the way. Yeah, I know. Yep. They definitely do. So yeah, that's all. I just wanted to kind of bring that to you guys' attention. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more at ease because I'm gonna bring this other article up really quick from Twitter. Let me see if I can bring it up because HBO Max, they just posted up something for here it is. There it is right here. I'm gonna pull it up really quick. It was for the God of High School. So I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's close this, go back in. Because people started going in on them. I honestly, low key, no cap, I was about to do the same exact thing. So to be fair, I can't say much. Me and my roommate trying to decide who gets to pick tonight's movie. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's if you don't know, The God of High School is actually pretty gnarly. Stream The God of High School now, HBO Max. My first inclination, my first thought is I was like, man, these jokers just sold off Crunchyroll. Now y'all trying to make us feel good about it. That's my first initial thought was. And I think that that's where a lot of these responses below, because some of these are ruthless. Like, hey, HBO Max team, really? You need to do this, please? And like, people are upset. Like, what happens now for Crunchyroll is so, like, people were left with a lot of doubt. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to make this, because if you look right now on HBO Max, it's only 35 of the Crunchyroll collection. That's not, I don't think, even though the ownership is going to Sony, I don't think that there's any reason for those to go anywhere. Somebody said Infinity Train. You sold Crunchyroll and now tweeting this as a joke. Again, it felt like, I felt the same way. I felt like, yo, that was like a quick, get people pepped up, but technically I would have just said reassurance that the Crunchyroll collection will still be connected in some capacity to HBO Max. And that would have given people a little bit more peace of mind as opposed to that. So I that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about it. Hopefully you guys get some information and more clarity on it. If you guys are excited about Cyberpunk 2077, if you got it already pre-installed, ready to go, let me know in the comment section below. I will definitely be streaming that tomorrow. I thought I was going to do it tonight, but I am exhausted. So I will not be streaming it tonight. And I don't care about spoilers at this point because the game is way too long. Will Sony try to get a new animes, like, for example, Solo Living? They could. they could really do whatever they want to if they own the Crunchyroll Collection. Again, VRV, don't look. I'm gonna show you really quick. I don't want to give you guys my VRV information or anything like that, but I'm gonna show you what VRV does look like in terms of what they have at their disposal and what accesses that they do have. All of Crunchyroll. Here we go. Let's do it like this. Topics for me. I don't know why they got these random top picks. These are weird. Here we go. If you don't know what VRV is, again, it's actually pretty dope. But I'll show you really quickly. Here we go. So if you go over here on the side, you got Cartoon Hangover. It's got its own alluded random cartoons and animations that are actually pretty weird, but pretty cool too. You got Crunchyroll in its entirety. So if you have VRV, you pay for VRV, you have the whole premium Crunchyroll automatically. A lot of people don't even know that. Then you got High Drive. High Drive in and of itself has its own collections of stuff that's adult-based anime, which is pretty dope. And they were the ones that kind of like replaced Funimation during that time of transition. Then you got Mondo, which is okay. I mean, there's a couple bangers in there, like The Last Man. You got Rooster Teeth, which is actually pretty dope. And I didn't realize it, but they've already removed Nickelodeon and those original shows. Like the old 90s Nickelodeon shows. I didn't realize those are actually being taken off already. But again, they can really do whatever they want to because they own that. They own, at this point now, like the ball is in their court. It just depends on what Sony wants to do. And I'm going to give you one even better. Say, hypothetically speaking, Sony was like, yo, I need you guys to produce an original Spider-Man anime. They can do it. they have full ranking to do whatever they want to in terms of animation, distribution, and progression. You know what I'm saying? Like if they wanted to say, you know, we want to continue Spider-Man, I don't know, Spectacular Spider-Man, and have somebody to do it, they could. So, I mean, again, at this point, it's still really good. It's not anything to really be worried about. It is a weird progression. I think it could have been handled in the verbiage on HBO Max's or at least his AT&T side, but that's not what happened. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm giving you guys clarity. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell button. If you hit the bell button, make sure you click all. And I will be back tomorrow for some streaming of Cyberpunk 2077. I would do it tonight, but I'm way too sleepy. Or greenlit a Blade anime. So to be honest, Patrick Holmes, there's already a Blade anime already. Wow. With Insomniac in it. Hey, I'm sorry to get y'all excited. Like, look, calm down. But yeah, again, they can really do whatever they really want to. At this point, I don't know if y'all know, I could have made a whole video off of just the Charlie Cox situation. Sony is in a good place right now. So, I mean, they got wins coming all over the place. And technically, you know, AT&T and Warner, I mean, they have some wins. It's just a lot of backlash, a lot of debt, and a lot of bad blood in the water. And hopefully that smooths over going into 2022, because at this point, things are not looking very good. But we'll see. But for right now, HBO Max is going to be okay. In terms of your anime content, you still have Studio Ghibli. You still have the Crunchyroll Collection. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. You still have Adult Swim. You still have Cartoon Network. Still have DC and DC animated films. So I think everything's going to be okay. And I feel more at peace in talking to you guys about it. But again, this is the overview of what AT&T did with their sale of Crunchyroll to Sony's Funimation. Leave in the comments what your theories are, what they're going to do, what it's going to be, what it could become. I've given you mine. Make sure you like. Love you guys. Have a good night. Peace, guys.